Okay, here's a little doll pretending to be baby Mariah. And when she's sitting in her high chair, it is really good if you give her her own spoon. And if you don't have a spoon, you can give her a little teething cracker or a big carrot. You should peel it though, of course. Anything at all. Here's one that's peeled. And then give her her own cup that you put a little bit of food in. That way she can dip her fingers in it, she can dip whatever you give her, she can dip the carrot in it, and then she can experiment and give herself tastes of things. You can give her a little spoon and dip it in whatever food you give so that she also can practice feeding herself and see that it's fun. This is the Gerber First Foods, it says. There's a 1 on it. And there are 2 packages in it. I got an apple one. In one corner, it will say number 1 for First Foods. And then in the other corner, it will say supported sitter. And that is what is appropriate for Mariah right now. And it has two little containers in it, and what is good to do is to open it up and use a spoon to put in just 1 spoonful to put into her serving tray, and then you will eat out of this. That way this all stays clean and uncontaminated. Then what is a good thing to do if you think you're not going to use this in 2 days? Then the best thing to do is to put this in a Ziploc bag . And then flatten it, and then put this in the freezer. That way then you can write on it apples or applesauce. Put it in the freezer, and then when you want to use it, it's really easy to just break off a frozen piece and let it melt, or just microwave it, and then you just can have portions, so you can get several feedings out of just that 1 container, as long as you haven't re-dipped the spoon that goes into her mouth. So here is some baby oatmeal. Again, only just like 1 grown-up size, and then just pour in enough formula that makes it really, really liquidy. What you want her to do is basically start out just drinking the food. Make it really, really liquidy. Right here I have a carrot that I had roasted for dinner, and there is no salt, no sugar. It's just a plain carrot that I had roasted. So again, you can add water or you can add a little formula to it. And mash, 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 mash. What you want it to do is be pureed. No chunks at all. So you just keep mashing and mashing and mashing. Add more water, add more formula. Her body is used to only milk, and so even if it's pureed, it still is going to be a big change on her tummy. So once you have something really soft and liquidy, then you can give it a try. I would put in even more formula and make it even more liquid, because this is still pretty granular, as you can see. Okay, here's a really brown banana. It was frozen, because that's what I do with my bananas. So what you would do is just take one little slice of banana, like what would be one of your big bitefuls. And again, mash, mash, mash with a fork. You want it to be pureed. Softer and more liquid than pudding. And then you can add water or formula. Since this is frozen, a lot of the moisture is in it, so that already is pretty liquidy. But if I were starting Mariah out, I would add a little bit of water. Because basically you just want her to drink different tastes. You're just letting her experiment with tastes. And if there's something she does not like, then just say, okay, we'll try again next week. Because her taste will change from week to week. So just because she doesn't like something this week doesn't mean she'll hate it forever. So you don't need to say that food is good or food is bad. It's just something that she's experimenting with. Okay? You want it really liquidy like that. So bananas and avocados are the only things that you really want to give her raw. Everything else should be cooked because it's too hard to digest. Avocados are a fruit, and so that is why it's okay to give her that. Okay, I'm just taking a tiny bit of avocado. Again, mash, mash, mash. This texture is really soft and puddingy, so little babies tend to really like it. Plus, it's not a super strong flavor, so they tend to go for it. Okay, that's really easy to mash. And there's some formula. Basically, green milk, and then you just would give her a little taste of that. Here's a sweet potato that you just can cook. Buy a sweet potato at Ralph's, poke it a few times, pop it in the oven at 375 for 45 minutes. And then once you have a soft sweet potato, same thing, mash, mash, mash. Sweet potatoes are actually easier to smash than carrots. You can see they're not as grainy. And they're also obviously really sweet. You should never add sugar or honey. Never add salt. And do not give her juice, because juice is just basically the sugar water of fruit. Okay, so here's a sweet potato that you could make yourself if you want to. But again, it's just kind of like orange water. Whatever you feed her, you might want to just feed her this amount, what would be the equivalent of like 1 tablespoon, one big adult spoon, And just try it once a day. She's just learning how to eat. This doesn't have anything to do with getting her nutrition. The nutrition is still coming from the formula for months yet. Whatever it is you give her, just give it to her for 3 days. That way you can tell how her digestive system does with it. If it makes her have diarrhea, obviously her poop now is going to start smelling like a grown-up. And her poop will also change color depending on what you gave her. So she might have green poop or orange poop, all depending on what she's eaten. All right. Also, when you feed her, just take the spoon and then go up so that you are scraping on her upper lip. So you go in and then tip up and wipe her upper lip. And I know that you don't want to scrape her mouth and give her the food again. I remember you saying that you don't like that. So just wipe it off, or you can scrape it with a spoon and then hand her that spoon. But always, whenever you are feeding her, always let her have something in her hand as well, because she needs to learn to understand that she can be in charge of her food. She doesn't have to just sit there passively. Whenever you eat, it's really good to sit at the table and have her in her high chair with a toy, and then hand her something, even if it's just a carrot for her to just lick on, or a teething biscuit. And here in the freezer is a bagel. It's a fourth of a bagel. And you would not give her one with raisins in it. The best would be like a whole wheat bagel, but it's a frozen bagel that's been sliced in half and then in half again, and that is really good for her just to teethe on. Obviously, that would be something you'd give her when you're sitting at the table eating, so that you can watch her, because if she starts gumming it too much, you don't want her to get a big chunk and to choke on it. When she learns to eat, she will start coughing and choking, and just don't panic about that. As long as she's coughing, that means her body's doing her job and getting it back up. So there are some things obviously that you can cook yourself, but since she's eating such a small amount, you might want to just buy the Gerber food for now. Gerber is a really good brand, and the FDA has really strict rules, much more strict than for adults, as far as what can and cannot go into baby food. So the Gerber will have no sugar, no salt, and will be fine. The website also at Gerber.com also has some good ideas for what are good starter foods for babies. Okay, this is an old doll that I had when I was a little girl that I got handed down to me from all my other sisters. So if you think it's going to creep Jay out, then don't show it to Jay, because I don't want to freak him out anymore. Okay? Bye-bye.